It's hard to believe, but we do. On the reality of being a college graduate.
A lot of the students are graduating. Some graduated last weekend. More are coming up in the season. And you're going to need much more than that diploma. You're going to take on some major debt as you leave college. Last year, the average graduating student racked up $29,000, almost $30,000 worth of debt. Now, that's a huge responsibility to take on. And a lot of the average salaries, if you're lucky, you'll start at $45,000 a year. Boy, I wish we had started at that,
That's
right?
pretty sweet.
That's the most recent estimate for a starting salary straight out of college these days.
But with us is Brad Huffman from Future Finances, because he's the one who's going to sort this all out for us.
Yeah, magic wand. We're going to take care of all of it.
We're going to get him walking out on the right foot.
You got it.
You know, it is. Everything's all done. Playtime's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Here comes reality.
Yeah,
Well, how terrifying, though. There you're sitting with, to start with, 30,000 or more, 30,000 or more.
And it's not going to get any easier. The reality is you're going to pay for that education, and it's getting more and more expensive. So it's unfortunate, but you're walking basically with a really nice auto loan, essentially, on your back, with nothing to show for it except for the great education, of course.
I heard something the other day that the average teacher who had loans out to become a teacher would take 20 years to pay those loans back.
It's happening now. Today, there are people in their 40s still paying for those student loans.
Right.
And most likely, those 22-year-olds today could very easily still have those liabilities 20 years out. So proper planning has to be get-go, step one.
That doesn't mean how bad it gets if you're a doctor or a lawyer, or if you've gone on to secondary, you know, if you've moved on to your
I've seen up to
higher degrees.
$700,000 in student loans.
I mean,
so.
that's just...
Really?
Yeah, for a couple, it could be staggering. So really, you have to be prepared to plan. And again, you know, there's ways to get out of the gate, keep it simple, but make sure you've got these different buckets ready to roll,
And
because
you've got
it
a
could be
formula.
messy.
Speaking of buckets, let's come over
Let's
here.
go look.
Let's get a look at what's happening over here, because you've got this split out for us in ways that we should be able to understand.
Yes.
So this is our bucket of money. Imagine this as everything that you're making, right? So walk us through what we're doing here.
So basically, we've talked a lot of different formulas, X% here. 3 basic things. First is your basic needs, what you need to live off of. This is going to be a big one. So this is going to be about 50% of your income. And not surprisingly, it's going to have the things like your home, your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, things like that, your auto, you know, so your gas, your maintenance, your auto loan.
You got to have the insurance,
medical,
taxes,
health insurance, all of those things you need to live. The basics that you need to get up, get to work, roof over your head, food on the table. Now, I should mention, food is important, obviously, but dining out is not what I would consider a basic need. So that's not in this 50% here. This is just what you need to feed yourself, keep the roof over your head, and make sure you're not naked going to work.
So right away,
fair enough. So you're half gone already.
You're half gone already.
All right.
And that's very typical.
Let's take this over here to some wants now.
The wants, yes. This is the fun table here. So typically, I suggest about 30% of your income is going to the wants. Now, the wants, not surprisingly, travel. So going out, maybe going to a bowl game. We all love Ohio State. It's dining out, definitely one. So whether it's going out for drinks or going out for a dinner, going out for a meal, definitely in that category. Of course, the toys, you know, the iPads, the big screen TV surround sound. You don't have to have those on. I would even throw cable in there. I know a lot of people say, I need it. Well, maybe you do, but do you really need 1,000 channels? Do you need 150 a month? That's one of those things that if it comes down to meeting the needs, you're going to have to cut that back.
Well, because we're running out.
We're running out.
You
got it. Yeah, exactly.
So then we get down to here.
Yep.
And what do we have now?
This is the table I like. Unfortunately, it happens to be the smallest amount. So about 20% is what I believe you really should be having on the savings side. So when you're fresh out of school, these are going to absorb a lot. This one's going to absorb a ton if you have big student loans. But down here, I really want you to focus on that important 20%. This is your saving for the future. This is your building your emergency fund. And we've talked about this in the past. I would love you just to go ahead and say, let me take that 20% off the top right away. And let me,
so you're not tempted to spend it on other
cover
things.
This, and then what's left over is this. That's what I would love to see happen. Now, give yourself, if you just graduated last weekend, maybe you want to go out and have fun. I'll let you have that. But after that, let's get serious. Take that 20%, get started, meet this, have some fun once that's taken care of.
Now, this is great if you're just graduating from college. Does the same rule apply as we get a little older?
Absolutely. Whether you're 22 or 52, the same rules of thumb will typically play out. If you can meet your 20% savings goal, however you mix these up is up to you.
Okay.
That's fine, but this has to happen because so many people are not meeting the savings goal.
Right.
If they have a lot here, that's a problem. But then this is getting out of hand. And I would bet most people look at their budgets, it's probably more than 30%.
Right.
So really do your best to try to
That's
keep
great.
that
No,
there.
that's good because it really breaks it down into that pie chart for everybody.
Very
Right.
simple, just discipline. That's all it takes.
Right. And then
Absolutely.
the next thing you know, it's time to go back to work.
Yep, then the week starts
We're
over
empty.
again.
We start all
Or
over
we
again.
go fill this up and go over to this
Yeah.
side.
We go back to this table.
Well, if we fill it with something else, we could probably be a little more entertained with it, pouring it out.
A little St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day
exactly.
happening right
Yeah.
there.
So-
Great stuff.
Brad, thank
Absolutely.
you. As always, we appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And don't forget, too, I would put a lot more emphasis on this next one, Mother's Day.
Oh, yes.
You might want to fill up another picture.
That actually kind of goes down here to
Yeah.
the...
Yes, that is. It's a necessity. Mother's Day is only 5 days away, which is plenty of time still to create a one-of-a-kind gift Mom is going to love.
Our very own Carolyn Bruck is going to be in here this morning to teach us how we can make projects that are personalized just for Mom.
I forgot I had this on.